Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt Ramsey. And honestly, I'm just like way too excited to wait any longer. I'm just gonna give everyone a moment to go ahead and join. Oh man, you can really see my grays coming in on the side. Look at that. You're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. Remember that song? Does anyone remember that one? Guys, okay, so the big reason why I'm excited is because today, hey Benny, today, right now, you can download my completely brand new Amazon published singing book that I've spent for the last two years of my life. 2 years of my life writing this book, and you can download it for free right now. Let me drop the link here. Let's see. Okay, there you go, right there. That link should work wherever you are, and you can download the book totally free today. It's an ebook, and of course, if you want to pick up the hardcover or the soft cover copy, I would absolutely appreciate that too. Let me see if I can. I kind of like this curl in the front. I'm going to leave that one for a little while, but I am so excited to answer some of your guys' singing questions. If I can use some examples from the book, then I will. But that is the big news. How do I sing like Elvis Presley? Okay, so Jesus is king. Here's the thing. I actually do talk about this in the book, and I use Elvis as an example. Is think about how many Elvis impersonators there are out there, and think about how few of them can actually do a really good Elvis impression. And the concept of the book, it's called Master Your Voice, a journey to discover your true singing voice. Download Master Your Voice, a journey to discover your true singing voice. Free on Amazon. Only today. That link will only work today, guys. So definitely check it out. Totally free. The only thing that I will ask is if you would please, if you do download it, go ahead and leave a rating and a review. That would be absolutely crucial. And by the way, if you're in a place outside of the United States, all you have to do is like change it from like .com or whatever to like .nl if you're in the Netherlands, or .au if you're in Australia, for example. And you can download it totally free. So definitely check it out. So using Elvis as an example, you know, wise men say, so Elvis sings with that low larynx, and he also sings with a very fast vibrato, right? Those are kind of the trademarks of the Elvis sound. Now, here's the thing. Unless you've mastered the fundamentals of singing, unless you've mastered the different, kind of parts of your singing voice, and learn how to sing, for example, on pitch, learn how to sing in chest voice, learn how to sing with vibrato, you're not going to be able to pull it off convincingly. And every singer, and this is basically the concept of the book, is every singer is on a journey from imitation to originality. And if you want to, and there's a chapter towards the end of the book called "Learn the Rules, Then Break Them." And that's basically the idea is like you need to learn these fundamental singing concepts before you can start to discover and refine your own true voice, because everyone else starts off by imitating, and that is totally fine. I'm not out here saying imitation is a bad thing. Imitation is fine because that's where everyone starts as a singer. You just don't want to get stuck there. So let me give you an example. Jesus is king. Okay, so let's say, excuse me, that you imitate Elvis's signature style, right? And as I discussed, he has a really wide, very fast vibrato. But maybe your vibrato is already too wide. If you imitate him as a singer, you may actually be holding yourself back from a vocal technique perspective, because having a vibrato that's too wide is going to sound wobbly, and it's not going to sound right in your singing voice. So it's very important to master that. Can you tell me about improving on vocal distortion? That's not something that I typically teach a whole lot of. Again, that's one of those things that adding that distortion in your house, I long to be room by room, patiently I wait for you there like a stone. So adding that distortion and rasp into your singing voice is fine, but you also have to master the fundamentals in order to get there first. How do I change keys when singing and how to do riffles? I think you mean riffs and or runs, Michael. So how do you change keys when singing? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Typically, most songs, I would say like 95% of pop songs, stay in the same key. So I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. If you're asking how to arrange a song to better fit your voice, I would start off by moving it up and down by half steps or maybe even a whole steps, the distance from, let's say, a C to a D. That's a whole step on the piano. And that can make a big, big difference in a singer's voice. For example, let's say that the high note in a song is a C5. That's, that's the tenor high C, right? Hope you'll forgive me. My voice is a little cruddy today because of the allergies. But let's say that's the high note in the song that you have to sing. However, the song is it's just a little outside of your range. Try moving it down one whole step. So rather than a C5, you could sing like, let's say, a B4, and that's just one half step down. And start off from there. Let's see if that does. Have you tried throat singing? No, not really. It's not it's not a part of any singing style that I really care about singing, honestly. I think it's a fun parlor trick. I think it's a fun trick for people to do, but honestly, I don't find it super, helpful or I sing folk, I sing rock, I sing pop. You're not going to find throat singing in any of those exactly. Michael had a follow-up question who said, how do you do vibrato singings? How can I improve myself? There's an exercise in the book, if you download it, called the diaphragm pulse. And by the way, I should mention that if you download the book, there's actually a free bonus video course that comes along with it. And that's going to show you exactly how to do all of these exercises. But in a very, very quick demonstration, you can take 2 fingers and place them right about on your solar plexus, probably like 2 to 3 inches above your belly button. And you're going to just slowly pulse in and out on that solar plexus on, let's say, an E. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not really true vibrato. However, it's teaching your vocal cords the feeling of what the vibrato actually feels like. So we're kind of stimulating or manufacturing the vibrato to happen in your singing voice. And then once you get the feeling of that, then you can start to take the fingers away. So example, so start off with the fingers pulsing on the solar plexus. See if you can find that kind of wiggle or that wobble in your voice, and then go ahead and see if you can do it without it as well. By the way, guys, just a quick reminder, just an absolutely huge announcement today. You can download my brand new singing book, Master Your Voice, A Journey to Discover Your True Singing Voice, for free on Amazon today only. It's available in Brazil. It's available in Denmark. It's available in Australia. Wherever you are, you'd probably just have to switch the .au, the .nl if you're in the Netherlands, for example. I don't know what the Brazilian designation is. Somebody tell me, what's the Brazilian designation? Edelton tell me. Is it .br? That would be my guess. I don't know. Let's see. Jay says, I started practicing through a microphone. I had that plugs into the open back headphone so I can literally hear myself. Helps you get over your own cringe. Absolutely. That's something I talk about in the book a whole lot. There's a chapter at the end which introduces what I call the snake venom exercise, which is very, very simple. You're going to record yourself and listen to yourself daily. How many of you guys that are watching this have recorded yourself, even listened to yourself on voicemail and been like, I don't sound like that. But of course you do sound like that, right? That's the way that you sound to everyone else. And so part of learning how to become a better singer, and of course I talk about this in the book, excuse me, is developing that third person ear, the ear of the audience, so to speak, so that you can actually know what you actually sound like. And that way you're less shocked. Not only that, but it will make your performances better because you're able to hear yourself as the audience would hear you, not you yourself, right? So that's another way to do it is listening to yourself on a microphone. Mofokung says, when singing, how do you know the time to switch from chest voice to head voice? So the way that I like to describe it is the pitch is the canary in the coal mine. We have this saying here in the US based on the coal mining that we used to do in the industrial era, where they would have a canary. They would have a little bird down in the coal mines. And if the canary died, then they knew that there was poisonous gas in the air. And since the canary is much smaller than a human being, if the canary would die first, and that would give the miners enough time to get out without doing serious damage to themselves, right? So that's an extreme saying that we have, but that's the dark history behind it. But to answer your question, the pitch is the canary in the coal mine. So for example, if you're singing up to an F sharp 4, assuming that you're a guy, and you're going, ma, 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 was that sharp or flat, guys? 35 people in the chat. Let me know. I want to see 35 answers. Was that sharp or flat, what I just sang? Here it is again. Ma, 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 ma. Ma, 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 ma. Ma, 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 ma. Let's see. I've got 3 answers. That means there's, let's see, 37 of you that I still want to see answers from. Okay, Jay says flat. Michael says sharp. Embers, flat. AJ Piano says flat. Lo-Fi Cat says flat. Nima says flat. Benny Lance says sharp. Edelton says flat. Those of you guys who are writing in flat are correct. So the difference between flat and sharp is this. If this is the pitch that you're trying to sing, anything above that note is sharp. Anything below that pitch is flat. So when I'm singing, and if you could watch me on a vocal pitch monitor, if I went ma 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 ma, you can see that I'm a little flat of the pitch. And so all this to say, when to know to switch from your chest voice to your head voice, if you're singing upwards and you're continually singing flat, 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 that probably means that you need to start allowing a little bit more head voice into your singing to make that transition. So rather than ma 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 ma, you can notice that I'm more on pitch there. Can everyone tell the difference there? I want to make absolutely sure. Giles Mendez says, what is your vocal range? My typical vocal range is from about an A2 up to like a G5. You know, nothing crazy. Almost 3 octaves there. But that's a pretty typical vocal range. Most people have about an octave, octave and a half when they first get started off with vocal training. And it's not uncommon for people to expand their range by an octave or so after doing some vocal training. Royston Kemp says, I love eating ice and drinking cold drinks. It's currently summer in South Africa. How bad can ice and cold drinks be for the voice? You know what? This is different for everyone, Royston. So what you need to do is you need to be a scientist for a second. You need to have a day where you're drinking just room temperature water, no ice, and try singing. And then you need to do a day where you're drinking cold beverages and see how it affects your singing. If there's no difference, then there's no reason to stop at whatever it is that you're doing. I'll give an example for myself. Whenever I drink coffee, my voice performs a little bit worse. I have to warm up more in order to get more of the sound that I'm looking for. And that is a big, big challenge for me because I love drinking coffee. However, I know that about myself. And if I know that about myself, then if I have an important performance, or even if I'm just going to teach an in-person lesson right here, and have my students standing right over here next to me, then I know that I'm going to have to maybe not drink coffee that day, or maybe have some other caffeine substitute that doesn't affect my voice so much. Okay, Edelton confirmed it is .br. And by the way, guys, huge announcement. I am launching a completely free singing book that you can download for free on Amazon today only. Amazon automatically jacks the price up after you've been after a day or so. And so this is the only day to do that. So make sure that you do it as soon as possible. The way that it'll look is you'll follow that link and you'll see in the top right-hand corner that you can download it for free. It says 100% off. So usually they set the price at whatever they want. I don't have a ton of control over the pricing of it. It depends on the file size. That dictates the price that they set. However, they do give you a couple of opportunities to list it for free. And so that is what I did. Okay, let me see. Erwin von Landwust. Hello, sir. Hey, Matt, hope you're great. I realized that I have two problems. From A4 onwards, the digastric muscle tightens, but I can easily go up to D5. Okay, so the people who don't know what the digastric muscle is, take your thumb and place it underneath, right behind your chin bone right here, on that little padding of muscle right underneath that. And then once you have your thumb in this position, swallow. Now, when you swallow, you should feel the digastric muscle kind of push down. That's the muscle connected to the root of your tongue. So a really, really good exercise is to try to vocalize while feeling this. You'll notice that as I sing upwards, that gets tighter. So what you want is you want to keep it as steady and simple as possible. And there's a chapter in the book that kind of talks about the secret to nailing those high notes without straining is really singing them as you would speak them. You'll notice that I didn't go up to that top note. Instead, I kept everything controlled. It's a B flat 4 up at the top there. Even though that's in my head voice, it still sounds pretty good. I'm gonna spit out my gum. Thank you. So Irvin, but from E5 onwards, my voice becomes very amplified, uncontrolled, and my rib cage collapses quickly, and I lose air very quickly. What do you recommend? Well, what I would recommend, Irwin, is that when you're going up into those top notes, those really, really high notes, do a little bow forward. Like you're standing, and then just do a little bow as you're going up to those top notes. So here's the E5, for example. I'll do it on a lip trill. That little bow forward, what that does, excuse me, is it introduces a secondary resistance in your body, and that actually helps the vocal cords close more, which will prevent you from leaking so much air. Kay says, how do you expand your range and strengthen your voice? Two very good but very separate questions. Okay, Kay, so how do you strengthen your voice? The first step is singing with and discovering that chest voice. So, for example, just rather than a na 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 na, which sounds very pretty, and I might put that on a recording. However, in vocal training, you might have to do a na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. And the reason that's so important, and even though that's a super ugly sound, what that does is it brings the vocal cords together more and resists the air from your lungs. So the air is coming up from your lungs and it's just going straight through the vocal cords if you're singing too breathy. Na 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 na. My cords are literally bleeding air through them. Whereas instead, if I go back to the way that I speak it, na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. All of a sudden, my vocal cords are resisting the air that's coming up from my lungs, and my vocal power increases dramatically. Great question. Let's see. Can you also create a WhatsApp music group? No, but you can join my program 30-Day Songmaster. There's a private Facebook group within that, and you submit a song recording every single month and get personalized feedback from me. So that's a good way to do it. Away with Angel says, hey, smiley face. Smiley face to you. I have always sung to the radio, and if I sing without them, I go sharp or flat, I'm told, but I can't hear it. How can I start hearing when I'm off? Here's what you have to do. You have to trick yourself, right? So you're going to start off singing along with the recording. So sing with the recording one time. And then the second time, hit record on a little voice memo app on your phone, and then sing the same song and see if you can tell where you're going sharp and flat. Mr. Calm says, hi, I guess the book is USA only. I can't get the link in the UK. Mr. Calm, you absolutely can. All you have to do is just change the .com to a .uk designation. And that will give you the book. I think I actually have the link in here. Hold on. Give me a second. Oh, it's .eu. Here it is. I'll drop it right there. Let's see if that works. Nope. Hold on. Hold, please. Facebook's always trying to get you to use their own link. Let's see if this one works better. Okay, that one should work for you. Just let me know. Ember says, when measuring vocal range, would your head voice range also be added onto it? Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the reason why vocal range, the measurement of vocal range, isn't the best measuring stick. It's one measuring stick. It's a good one, but it's not the best measuring stick. It's just one piece of information that you can use. So say, for example, that I can go, so that's an F sharp 2 there. And I can also go to a, like I can squeeze out that note. So that's F sharp 2 up to G5, right? So technically, that is my vocal range today. F sharp 2 up to a G5. However, how good do those notes sound in my voice? Not super great, right? So more important than just your overall vocal range is what we call the tessitura. And the tessitura is the comfortable range of your singing. And the way that I do that, a good little sleight of hand, or a good rule of thumb, if you will, for finding your tessitura is take your absolute lowest note and your absolute highest note and subtract a fifth from both sides. So let's say, I'll just make it simple. So let's say my lowest note is a G2 and my highest note is a G5. Subtract a fifth from both sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's say that my tessitura is probably from around a D3 up to around a C5. And that's actually pretty accurate for me. I can't sing too well or sound too good below a D2 or below a D3. And I'm not going to sound super, I'm going to notice a decrease in quality in my vocal range once I get up past a C5. So that's a pretty good little rule of thumb that you can use it. Let's see. Jay says I can't do lip trills. What about tongue trills, Jay? Like you're rolling your R's in Spanish. That's a good one. D and T in Tennessee, you're wearing a Pink Floyd shirt. You are the man. I love Pink Floyd. I love, 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 love Pink Floyd. What's that? Remember when you were young, shone like the sun, shine on you crazy diamond. I love that song. I think it's just called Shine on You Crazy Diamond. I think it might be part 2. I think there might be 2 parts to that one. I can't recall. Benny says, how do I start my singing career? Well, Benny, I would start off by singing in front of one person and then growing from there. And here's the thing that I want you to keep in mind. And by the way, guys, the huge announcement today is that you can download my brand new singing book. It just dropped on Amazon right here. There's the link right there. You can download it for free. You may just have to add in your country's designation if you're outside the US. So for example, rather than .com, it might say .eu, for example. And you can see the link that I sent up there for the EU. But you should be able to convert it to your own country's URL. Just let me know if you're having a hard time with that, and maybe I can find the link for you. Let's see. Okay, no. Oh, no, I skipped one. Okay, Benny. So you want to start off by singing in front of one person. That's how you start. And then what you want to do is you want to get some honest feedback from that person or that small group of people. And, you know, you're singing in front of your mom or your dad or your family at Christmas time or whatever. And they might say, oh, that sounds kind of nice. I noticed that you were a little off pitch here or there or something like that. But most of the time, the feedback that they're going to give you will be incomplete because they're not trained as singers or they're not trained as a voice teacher. Or they're like, oh, you know what? I think you need to support that a little bit more. But until you get in front of someone who actually knows what they're talking about, like a professional vocal coach, it might be kind of difficult to know exactly what it is that you need to do to become even better. Hi, Lily. Ember says, when measuring vocal range, would falsetto be part of that measurement? Yes. Yes, it would. So again, another reason why vocal range is not the best indicator of your actual singing abilities, because, you know, technically I could sing that. Mom, I could sing that C5 and just falsetto. And technically it's a part of my vocal range because I can vocalize up there, but does it sound great? Is there work to be done? Absolutely, there is. So definitely keep that in mind. Mr. Calm said, thank you, it worked. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Siroc says, my vocals sound pretty harsh and boxy when I sing high. I think I might have a weak head voice. What do you think? Harsh and boxy? I'd have to hear you to know. Those two things sound a little bit different to me. Harsh could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Mofo Kung says, I always struggle with breathing, especially when I go high. So here's the trick with breathing, right? I teach it in the book. It's called the diaphragmatic breath. So when you inhale, the bottom of your stomach should expand. And as you sing or as you breathe out, the stomach should contract or come back in. This is especially true on higher notes. Now, I know you guys can't see my lower half right now. And it would look kind of silly if I moved the camera down. I promise you just can't get a very good view of it right now. But basically, when you're singing, you will always want to make sure that it's just the bottom part of your belly that's coming out and that you're not raising the shoulders or the chest when you sing high. Instead, you want to keep everything isolated to the bottom part of your belly. Very, very, very good question. Jay said, is the straw method an okay substitute for not being able to do the lip trill? Absolutely. I actually like to do the straw in water. So you grab a straw and then you have a cup of water and you dip the straw about a quarter inch underneath the surface of the water. Because if you push the straw too low in the bottom of the glass, then you're adding too much resistance to it. If it's outside of the water, you're not getting enough resistance. So you usually just dip the straw, the bottom of the straw, about a quarter of an inch below the surface of the water, and you'll notice that you're able to just you're blowing bubbles, through those straw lips into the water, and you'll notice that that helps a whole lot. Oli says, perfect. I bought Kindle for Christmas. Thank you for the book. You're very welcome. Make sure to leave a 5-star rating and review, please. That helps other singers find the book and actually, help them because it'll help it pop up in the rankings higher. So please remember to do that. That would be really, really cool. Ember says, I have a natural distortion like Kurt Cobain. Is there a way to mask that or prevent that? Sorry, this may sound like a dumb question. No, it doesn't, Ember. So here's the thing. When you say that you have a natural distortion like Kurt Cobain didn't really have a natural distortion to his voice. His voice had a little bit of a rasp to it. He'd kind of like talk like this a little bit. And yeah, we really, thank you to all of our true fans. It was like a little rasp and a little hoarse. But it wasn't really a very natural distortion. So first of all, just a little difference in the shall we say the terminology there. There's a difference between rasp and distortion. However, the other thing too that troubles me is that I want to make sure that that rasp that you're singing with is actually natural to your voice and not an indicator that there's some vocal damage being done. And that is very, very common. I'll have a singer who comes in, they're like, Now that sounds pretty uncomfortable and it actually kind of hurts to sing that way. And so you want to make sure that you're singing with good and proper vocal technique. How well do you know? You'd have to get someone to be able to hear you. Let's see. Tanya says, hi, I'm a beginner singing for fun. I constantly go off pitch in the same place of the same song. The note is well within my comfy range. I sing it easily in other places. What would be your advice? Okay, so you've given me a couple really good clues here. You've said you constantly go off pitch in the same place of the same song, but you're able to sing it easily in other songs, that same pitch in other songs. So something tells me that there's something going on with that particular song. Maybe the melody going up to that note or coming down to that note is kind of tricky for you. So maybe take a look at that. Another thing too might be the vowel that you're singing with. That's probably the most likely thing. So let's say that maybe you can sing it. Ooh, you can sing an ooh very well. But in the song that you have to sing, let's say it's on an because that's such a more open vowel, it's much more likely to go flat. And so you actually have to practice making your way from one vowel to the other. And I might actually use some vowels in between. So for example, like a you always want to start with the thing that's working well. And then maybe we can start to open that up. Maybe goo to gu, like good. And then once you've got the gu, maybe you can start to go to the ga. And so it's a step-by-step process, right? You really have to kind of think of singing that specific note, excuse me, as a journey from the note that's easy for you to the note that's difficult for you, or from the vowel that's easy for you to the vowel that's difficult for you. And that's the way that I work my lessons too. Oftentimes, like in the beginning of the lesson, I'll give the singer something that's pretty easy for them to do. And then towards the middle of the lesson, I start giving them things that are harder to do because they've already got a pretty good sense of how to do that. Guys, I am so, so, so incredibly excited to share this with you. Just remember, you can download my ebook, Master Your Voice, A Journey to Discover Your True Singing Voice, for free on Amazon today only. After today, Amazon automatically jacks the price up. And so make sure that you grab it today. I appreciate everyone's questions. So thank you, thank you, thank you guys for being here. It's been a pleasure. And I can't wait to do another one of these soon. And let me know what you think of the book. All right. Bye now.